homies, this is Sarah.
And I'm Ashley, and this is Hometown Homicide.
So hi, guys.
Hi.
It's March. Like, what the fuck?
It is.
Yeah. Time's a-flying.
It is. I've lost track of time.
We celebrated my birthday last weekend. It was a good time.
That was fun.
We rented an igloo. My first igloo experience.
Mine too.
A whole shit ton of charcuterie.
Popped our igloo cherry.
Hufflepuff popped our.
Oh, God. That is a server. That's his nickname.
Wow.
Nickname?
It didn't sound like not nickname.
Nuck-nom.
I put a review on LP.
I saw that.
Okay. Good stuff. Good times.
It was a lot of fun.
The war in Ukraine is getting worse.
Yep.
They tried to open some corridors for the civilians to, like, leave and bring in supplies. Yeah, and Russia keeps still fucking shelling the area, even though they've said they wouldn't, so.
Now, I don't know if this is true, but I saw that Anonymous hacked Russia's airwaves because Russia's only showing the state TV.
Interesting.
Basically, not what's happening. They're telling lies and,
Yeah.
oh, no, Russian soldiers have lost their lives. It's not what you think. So Anonymous hacked the airwaves, and it's only showing what's actually happening there. And again, I don't know if it's true, but
one of my coworkers said something about some of the Russian soldiers have, like, leaked gas out of the tanks, so they, we can't proceed. We don't have any more gas. Like, because they don't want to be.
They don't want to be there.
Oh. It's just
So sad.
Yeah, it is.
So again, like we said last week, our thoughts and prayers go out to Ukraine. I know that won't stop it, but
yeah. Still, we're very far away, but we're still thinking and trying to keep up on it and everything. So,
correct.
Any other business that you've?
I've been so busy this week. I haven't listened to a podcast at all this week, so I apologize for everyone that I normally listen to and rate you guys and put it on Twitter. I have not had a chance because the week literally flew by, and I work over my shift, and then I got in trouble for working overtime. It's like things aren't getting done unless I'm sorry.
It's weird how that happens.
Because this is like supposed to be our busy season, and where we normally work overtime, where it's mandatory, and I went over an hour and they freaked out on me. So yeah.
That's not great.
So I'm behind on everything. That includes my episode next week because I have no idea what I'm doing still because I haven't had a chance to think about it. So yeah, that's been my update.
And yeah, they're trying to crack down on us for overtime too, but it's also kind of getting nicer around here. So then the springtime haircuts are trying to call and get scheduled, and I'm like, I'm tired.
Right?
I'm tired. And then the rain yesterday, I think that helped me just zonk out too, because it stormed fairly bad around here. Worse in Des Moines. That's a whole other thoughts and
yeah, there
and
was
stuff
some
going
tornadoes last night, early evening, to the west of us. They were expecting it to be bad here, and it really wasn't terrible.
I was just kind of half in and out of sleep, and I could hear the lightning and stuff.
You could hear the lightning?
I could hear the lightning.
I mean, the lightning progressed, and then I feel like the second round that came through, like once it got done raining, the lightning was so bright, and then the thunder was immediate, and then it just was like rumbled. It was like, oh, this is amazing. As I was cutting up all my vegetables for the week.
When I heard the thundering, it was loud enough it startled the cats because it came on so hard, because that's what woke me up a little bit, because they like took off. And I'm like, what the fuck's happening? But I'm like, oh, cool. And then I fell back asleep. So that's something we didn't talk about, was the new Kanye drama.
I haven't been paying attention to Kanye. That's how busy I was this last week.
I only saw on Facebook some things. He released his newest music video. The very end of it, he buries a claymation character that's
Pete Davidson.
Yes.
Okay, maybe I did see something, but I did not have time to read it. Like I said, my week was jam effing packed.
He's lost his noodle.
He's lost it a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. But I even talked to Morgan about this when I got my tattoo the other day.
Like what he's doing to Kim is not okay. This is straight up harassment. This is stalking.
There's a fucking documentary about him on Netflix that had been recorded over the last decade or some shit. I'm like, this shouldn't even be on here right now. During, or due to the circumstances that are
something
ongoing.
is going to happen to somebody.
Yeah.
And then
his next documentary is going to be like Chris fucking Watts documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Sarah got the kitties.
Oh, yeah.
Hometown homicide shirts.
Yeah.
Stormy probably will not wear one. She's also hiding under the bed because she doesn't like when Sarah comes over.
For some reason.
And Coco's already worn it. Photos. By the time you've listened to this, you've already seen the photos. But
yes.
And we also have koozies and stickers so far.
I'm going to contact the patrons for their addresses. I could send them each a koozie and sticker and pen or whatnot, just as a thank you, especially right now since it's small scale. We got Lynette and Tracy and Brett,
Casey,
I can just hand her hers. So
yeah, but awesome.
Well, thank you, Steph.
Well, thank you for helping support us. Thank you guys. So yeah, what do you have for us today?
I decided what I would do. Let's focus on the Bob Dale update.
Okay.
And just roll with that.
I've been waiting for this.
I know, as lots of people have been. So after the Missing in Michigan episode, number 6, I think it was.
Yes.
We had some people reach out to us, including the sister of Bob Dale's wife. Kristi. Yes, she emailed us and said that we had our facts wrong, and
which were
just what was able to be found out on the internet,
which you put sources to.
Yes. And she said that Kristi would actually love to talk to us or whatnot. So I was like, okay, that's, if we're wrong, I appreciate you telling us that. What do we have wrong? And so she kind of went through a little bit. I'll try to just recap what I had said then. Was Bob went missing from a coworker's wedding reception, or the night of a coworker's wedding reception, May 18th, 1996, in the Sault Ste. Marie area of Michigan.
And you can listen to that whole episode if you go back to episode 6, like we already mentioned.
He's the third of 3 people that have gone missing in Michigan that I covered. Gone missing without really any trace, no signs of struggle, bizarre cases. With Jacob Cavanaugh, there was a little bit of clues as far as his debit card and stuff, weird. But it's still very weird. So Bob went missing. At the time, he's married to Kristi. He had 3 sons. The youngest was only 9 months old. They've searched in the canals in Sioux. They've searched along the road. There's no sign of him since leaving the reception to going downtown. There's been some mention of people seeing him downtown at the bar for the after party, but no verified sources of that anymore, because it seems that anyone that had said that said no, they weren't sure or were never on record.
Sure.
So it'll be 27 years coming up in May. So Steph reached out to us and said that Kristi, his wife, would actually talk to us. And it was a little bit of a struggle to get coordinated with her. She does work, seems like 6 days a week, long days, and I understand that. And Ashley pointed out maybe iPhones don't necessarily let unknown numbers ring through all the time. With the first couple times I tried to call her, I went straight to voicemail.
So it will ring once and then go to voicemail, I believe, when you silence an unknown number.
So yeah, I'm not entirely sure. So when she texted me and I texted her back and tried to get it figured out. And then after that, when I called, it actually started ringing. So I was like, okay, well, that's promising. So then it finally went through. And we talked for about an hour a few weeks back. So I apologize for the pushing it out because then there was apparently a misunderstanding. I mean, I told her when she asked me what was the intention of what we wanted to do with this and why we were doing it. And I told her we just wanted to get stories out there for the people that aren't well known, or, you know, to help maybe with these missing people, get people talking or jog some memories or whatnot. And I told her I was going to just supplement the episode, giving the information that she gave me out to the world, because what I had previously researched and reported was what I could find on various sources on the internet. Then we advertised we were going to give an update, and then she wasn't necessarily upset. She just seemed confused. She's like, "Well, what are you going to do with this? What's your intent?" I was like, "I told you I just wanted to share what you told me, and we'd update." When she realized we were going to do another little episode bit about Bob, she contacted me again and wanted to talk again.
Was that not mentioned that, like, we were going to use this, like, you wanted your side of it to come out? Obviously, we were going to update. Did she not understand? Or was that just not talked about?
I mentioned it,
okay.
But she did, at the end of the interview, she said she had a lot of anxiety leading up to talking to me, so maybe she just was a little overwhelmed and didn't process what I said. Or I get anxious, I get spacey when I'm worried about stuff. So
I get anxious when I know I have to go to a store where there's people. My anxiety, like, I overthink things. I'm like, what if I run into this person? Like, how will, like, I get that. And I have never been in her situation.
Right.
Like, I'm talking to her, but so I get that. Fair enough.
So that's part of why we pushed it out a little bit further, because we were trying to coordinate to talk a second time, but finally I just was like, I'm sorry, we haven't been able to coordinate. Again, I just wanted to tell people what you said. If you have anything else, go ahead and send it to us in a message. But
didn't get one.
She sent me a text. She's like, well, it's all good. I just want to make sure the public knows I've not changed my story. It seems to be the biggest rumor. I have told the police many times I thought he went downtown with me, as well as the public say someone saw him downtown. That part was all caps. If he didn't make it downtown, he may have gotten out and walked home. It certainly wasn't like Bob not to come home. And then she said, thank you for everything. I appreciate you.
I mean, her concern is she doesn't want to sound like she's changing her story, but if she's done interviews and the story did change, it wouldn't really be a rumor. People are just pointing out the fact that, hey, you said this, and then in another interview you said this, so that's not a rumor, right?
Well, I mean, I understand where you're at, but I guess she hasn't really done interviews with the police, with them going over everything. That I can't speak of. But as far as public interviews with news and stuff, she hasn't really done any. So I think it'd have to be like hearsay from other people saying, well, I heard her say this, or someone else said her, or said she said that, or whatnot. Because the only one I could find was the was it the KSOO? They're gonna kill me. The radio interview that someone linked on our thing. I apologize. I can't remember what the radio letters all are, but that was the other one that she's done, and she mentioned that to me when we were talking, that one kind of took her by surprise too. That was last year in August, maybe? Something like that.
Now, I'm just going to say this. If it were one of my loved ones that went missing like that, I would be constantly wanting to be interviewed so that, hey, we don't know where this person is. Please, if you have any information, please let us know. Like, I just feel like that's what I would be doing. Everybody is different. We have people who follow us on Instagram that we follow back, that they have a loved one missing, and they will not stop because they want to find them.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone is different. That is just what I'm saying. If it were me, that's what I would be doing.
And understandable. Especially nowadays with all the social media that we have at our hands, like we can easily get word out and stuff. But on the other hand, if you will, she had 3 little boys to take care of, and I mean, obviously she wanted to find Bob, but she also had to take care of them by herself now.
Understandable.
So
I would want more people. If someone wanted to call to give it, so I could be like, this is the information. Help me find my husband.
And she acknowledged that that when I did my first report, that I was only going by what I've heard and could find. Kind of like you're saying, though, if the information that is easily obtainable is wrong, or maybe not all the way correct, why wouldn't you want to get more correct information out there? Statements, interviews, etc.
Exactly.
Because like some of the stuff that she told me, I definitely would never have known about. Like she said, at the time he was working for the tribe. Now, I didn't, I guess, even ask what tribe, but there's Indian tribes up there.
Okay.
I knew he had a job, but I guess he was working for the tribe. And
just the tribe?
Like, that's how it was referenced, and actually that's how it is referenced on some of the Facebook comments about the tribe. So, just in general, apparently.
Is it like the tribe, like, mob related? I don't. I'm asking a question because when you say the tribe, like, to me, in my head, because I think differently sometimes, I'm like, ooh, mafia. Okay. Probably not. That's just my...
Well, she does mention in the interview that at the time there had been some money laundering happening with the tribe. So maybe not all upstanding citizens involved. And she wasn't trying to say that Bob was necessarily involved, but, what if he had stumbled upon something at work that he wasn't supposed to know, or having an affair with an Indian woman or something, part of the tribe, that got somebody else pissed off. And I'm not here trying to talk bad about Bob either, but she said she did find out he had an affair after he went missing, and that she even went up there and talked to her and her sister, her friend, went up and talked to this woman to be like, do you know where he is? Thought maybe he ran away to be with her or something like that. And the woman, I guess, said she had no idea. It was more of like a casual kind of thing, alcohol involved, and they would watch football and hang out and stuff. Not like, I love you, I'm leaving my wife and family for you kind of thing.
Huh.
Right? I know. So, I mean...
And this wedding reception was a coworker of the tribe.
Of the tribe. The tribe.
The
boss of the tribe. The fuck, Sarah. But no, I don't know how long this I don't know how long this affair had been going on, or if it had already stopped before he went missing.
Did she say how she found out?
She didn't, I guess. It might have just been police looking into stuff about him and found maybe phone calls or something.
Oh, I'm sure they talk to people.
They're gonna
tribe.
They're just gonna discover things when they're looking. And I'm not saying this woman is from the tribe, but
oh, okay.
If he had one affair, who's to say he might not have had another one, or you know. Oh, supposedly he had like gotten in a fight at the wedding reception as well, and Kristi said she heard he got kicked in the head, which is pretty severe of a fight. A punch maybe, but a kick in the head. So like, I don't know about that.
Either they were a high kicker, or they got him on the ground and then able to kick him. Mm-hmm. But wouldn't more people have noticed that?
You would think. It almost sounded like the reception was at like a personal property, like maybe in a shop or a rented like canopy thing. Because I thought, without having it pulled up right the second, I think she said something about in a shed. Like, I don't know if they were getting booze out of a different thing or if whatever, but yeah, I'm not sure. Or talking business if, you know, some of the coworkers were off talking or whatever, but they were, to go before he went missing, they were high school sweethearts. They got married right away. He went into the Navy, and they went out to the West Coast and started having the children. And then once they had kids and he got out of the Navy, they decided to go back to Michigan. Cheaper living than in California.
Oh, sure.
Closer to family and all that, you know, just back home type stuff. She did say that he liked to drink a lot, kind of hard. She said that at the time she wasn't a big drinker, but Bob was. And if they went out, she was usually the driver. And he like passed out from drinking a lot, is what she said.
Doesn't that contradict what other people have said, though, that knew him very well? From what I'm remembering.
Yeah. So, from what I had gotten before, the first report is that he didn't drink much.
But she's with him more than...
And yeah, like, it could be one of those, if you're not there, you don't see it. I'm not entirely sure on that, unfortunately, but...
Maybe he didn't drink a lot when he was around family or certain friends and only at home. Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Or out traveling for work, because she said he traveled a lot. So if he was, you know, a hotel away from home, might have enjoyed the beverages. So she said he was passed out in the driver's seat of their van when the reception was ending and people were going to go downtown for the after party.
Okay, so he was already passed out in the van before they were leaving.
Yes. She said he was passed out in the driver's seat and with help got him moved over to the passenger seat. I will say other sources in the other articles I saw said that people saw him getting into their van to leave. Like, it didn't sound like he was already in it and, you know, helped push him over or whatever. But people drinking can remember things differently or incorrectly or...
Not at all.
Yes, make something up and they don't even realize they're making it up, technically. So, that's just what she told me. She did say she blacked out part of the drive from the reception to the bar.
That's not good.
It's not good, but
when you're driving, it's not good.
It's not good. And I told her, hey...
I mean,
people make mistakes. I know people. You know, it is what it is. I told her, I'm like, no judgment. I was just trying to get her to clarify, whatever, you know.
I mean, it's not good, but I mean, I'm pretty sure it's happened to more people than. I mean, sometimes I not black out, but completely sober.
You're like, how the hell did I get home?
And I'm driving, and like if I'm listening to a podcast or even music, I'm like, I don't remember the last 5 minutes. I was just so into, like, so I
kind of get on autopilot, and then you're like,
yes.
She said that, like, Bob did want to go home. Like, obviously, if it were me and I was already passed out once and I had to get, like, woken up to get shoved over, yeah, I'd probably be like, take me the fuck home. Like, I'm done for the night, you know.
And if there's a Taco Bell, please get me Taco Bell and then get me home.
That too.
Like, I'd probably sleep on the way to Taco Bell, but it sounds like maybe around this area there were no Taco Bells. I don't know. Never been there.
She does remember dancing with friends. Like, so she doesn't really remember the drive, but she remembers being downtown and dancing with friends and not being sure where Bob was. She said that she even remembered saying something about, like, oh, I lost my husband, kind of like, you know, oh, where'd he go, kind of thing.
Does she remember Bob getting out of the van when they got downtown?
No. Okay. So I think what she can recall was more like she left him in the van and that she went inside. But then she said that there were people like the bartender or whatever at the time that had seen him downtown. But they're not on record with that. At least anymore. Unless they recanted or didn't want to get involved. And I even said that to her. I'm like, that's sucky. Like, if someone said something and then they're like, well, no, never mind, I didn't see him. Like, I don't know if they didn't want to get involved for various reasons. If there's connections with sketchy
Something
people
else.
or, you know, I don't know. But that's just the stuff I came across and then what she told me. She said if they did get in a fight in between reception and the bar, and that he got out near the party, he could have walked home, or maybe he got lost in the woods.
Now, did they live close to this bar that they went to? I mean, if he was going to walk home.
She said that they lived across town. And of course, then people probably walked a bit more because there weren't going to be Ubers and Lyfts and
In a
cabs
small
and
town,
stuff.
you don't have
and
a cab.
yeah. So Kristi said she never really discussed Bob's disappearance with the boys to shield them, I guess. But they still heard about it, like at school and stuff, which this part really sucks. So they were living in a rental house when he went missing. And she said it's like a dirt floor basement and like an older house. So from like the coal or wood burning furnace or whatever kind of thing it was, the ashes from the many moons of people that had owned it just kind of got piled down in the basement. It's just like we never went down there except to do laundry anyway, so it wasn't a big deal. But in searches for him, the cops had come and even brought dogs to sniff around and stuff. Yeah. Or like to trace his, scent or whatever. But after they had moved out, her middle son, Devin, went to school with a boy that his family moved into that house and said, we can't go in the basement because there's a dead man down there and that his wife did it. And obviously that's
horrible.
rumors and yeah, kids talk, adults talk, kids talk, but it's like, that super sucks.
Yeah.
And that was 5th grade that he had to hear something like that. And I can't imagine trying to protect your children from hearing rumors and things like that. And yeah, no judgment on how she did all that. But on the other hand, they're going to hear it. So trying to be open with them a little bit.
Yeah.
In Bob's parents, like grieving of losing him, she said they did kind of abandon her, didn't invite her to family things anymore. She said in the beginning she felt like that Bob had run away, having 3 young kids, that he only wanted 2 of them, and that he had a rough year with traveling. He was drinking a lot, didn't have a lot of friends because of the time he had to spend traveling for the job.
What do you mean he only wanted 2 of them?
Maybe they only planned on 2, and then the third was a surprise.
Does it mean you wouldn't want it, though?
I don't know. Of course, once he went missing, she had to go back to work because they had no money, and they had, quote, nothing. She said Connor was only 9 months old at the time, and she was barely working because Bob was the main breadwinner. But having 3 kids, the youngest being 9 months, that's a lot. Having a job you travel a lot for, there would be a lot on your mind. So one could argue maybe they are reasons for him to want to run away.
But you don't run away.
I know, you would think you wouldn't, but...
I mean, if you... Would you at least tell your family? Like, hey, I ran away.
I ran away.
I mean, you know.
I think so.
Not so nonchalantly, but...
And then after he went missing, she went back to work and was waitressing. But then she said his mom had said that he ran away from her because she worked too much.
That doesn't make sense. If she wasn't working...
Right.
You don't really run away from someone if they work too much because they're not there to run away from. That's just my thinking.
I mean, if you want companionship and if they are working a lot and they're not there, okay.
You would run to somebody else, not just run away. I think differently. I apologize.
But yeah, at one point she said that he was the breadwinner. And then she claims his mom said that he ran away because she worked too much.
Yeah.
How were you working? Because you said that Connor was 9 months old and you just had gone back to work. So that it was all very contradictory of itself. Oh yeah, she said that he couldn't keep a job at the time. But he worked for the tribe.
I'm confused.
And see, this is why
I'm pondering.
It was confusing for me to even try to fucking look back at my notes.
So he couldn't keep a job, but he had a job. He was working.
He traveled a lot for. And that she didn't work. But
because he was a breadwinner.
Yes, but she worked all the time, so that's why he ran away. Do you see my confusion once I sat down and thought about it and looked at it? Yeah. Her sister had already informed us in an email, but then Kristi mentioned it to me as well on the interview, that she took 2 polygraphs and she did pass both of them.
Which my thinking is great, you passed it. Tests are hard, but I feel like if it's something that can't even be used in court for anything, not saying that they're going to court, but you can't use it, they really don't mean anything.
I don't know why they're even still used, because you can't use them. I mean, I know it can give good indications, but you can get a read on someone just by talking to them too. So I don't know. But that's a whole separate topic. Kristi did say the first detective was a bit of a drinker. And
everyone's a bit of a drinker.
And heard that he had been out downtown talking about her and Bob's case. And I don't know if that was to try to casually get information from people or if he was trying to influence people's memories or statements at the time.
Off duty. I mean, when you're a detective, are you really off duty, though?
Right, I don't know.
If you have a chance to talk to people, I think you're good.
Right, you're, always on the clock kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. She didn't have good vibes about it, certainly. But, she still feels pressure and, under a microscope. So, I mean, I don't blame her for not having good vibes about it. It could have been an innocent way to try to get information from people, or it could have been, a conniving situation. So she did tell me 2 weeks after Bob went missing, the detective, herself, a psychic, and her psychic's friend, possibly assistant or something, did travel the road between the party or the reception and the party at the bar and downtown area and stuff. They traveled around in the car for 8 hours trying to jog any memory.
But a psychic, wouldn't they already know?
I think
why they're psychic?
I think maybe if she could just pick up on something, maybe as well.
I mean, I am not digging. To bashing any psychic because, sure,
I believe some of it can be real.
Yes,
but there are scammers out there.
Yes, but a part of me is always if you are psychic, we wouldn't be in this situation. You'd be okay, this is where he is. Let's go there. And I know that does happen sometimes, but then again, there wouldn't be any missing people because you already know, right?
Well, it's not like they necessarily know all, see all the time. She's like, I don't know if you believe stuff like that. I could tell she's kind of like,
believe stuff like that.
Nervous, mentioning it. And I'm like, no, you're totally fine. Fine. Totally fine. Like, I'm not going to believe everybody's everything that they come at me with, but sometimes I just know things that I shouldn't know either. And I know other people that have the same type of deal. So
because of scammers, though, I don't 100% 100% believe everybody,
right.
But I want to, because I think if you had that capability, how awesome it would be.
Mm-hmm. She did tell me this chick helped the Detroit, I think, police department solve some cases.
Okay.
So I was like, interesting. She sent me
a little bit of credibility then.
Yeah, she sent me, because of course this was in 96, so camera phones, fucking cell phones weren't even really a thing. So she sent me a picture of the paper that was typed out and then has some handwritten notes on it from what the psychic had like picked up on or whatever. So she got her vibes from the drive, and then trying to, like, Kristi was hopefully going to jog the memory.
And nothing?
No, she said she understands that with alcoholism, if you black out, there's just no getting that back. You know how, did you ever learn how to play pool at the bar?
Sure. I was never good at it, but yeah.
Like, sometimes if you learn things in an inebriated state, you can't replicate, like, you can't do it again or do it as well if you don't do it in the state you learned it in.
That's probably why I'm not very good, because I've I've never played pool sober.
So later, not that that would be helpful really at all, but it's like, oh, they should have got her like half crocked and then brought, you know what I mean? Like, kind of almost have her back in the right mindset, although that would be like bad, but it's like, oh, shit, it might have worked.
She wasn't driving. Why would it be bad?
Well, I just mean, like, as an investigative tool, getting someone half crocked, like, maybe not great, but it might have worked. I don't know. But that's what my brain did with it. They also searched culverts and walked the streets. In the previous report, I mentioned how divers had checked the canals and stuff down in downtown Sioux. And they search out by the gravel pits. Apparently these gravel pits are a thing out there.
Yeah.
I assume just, rock quarry type, but they're just referenced as gravel pits. She mentioned how this kind of came out of the blue, like getting word that we had done a report on Bob. Understandably so, especially because we're nowhere near them. And I told her I had reached out to the Facebook page because at least it was a public thing instead of trying to hunt someone down personally, because I didn't know how people would feel about that. And I didn't, of course, at the time know who ran the Facebook page. And she had been on it at first, but then she did end up blocking herself from the page because of people's comments and stuff, because some people aren't very nice or have their own theories and accusations and things. So
yeah, that would be a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, and she said she was kind of getting into arguments with people trying to defend herself.
You can't do that, though.
I know, but you have that urge to, though. I definitely understand that. I'm going to play you a bit. Again, you can say whatever, as much as you want, or not answer or whatever. I'm just asking, after these years of pondering and everything, what do you think happened to him?
I think he got killed somehow. I think that, somebody had something to do with this. Somebody knows something. Mm-hmm. And if not, then he's out there in the woods somewhere.
But then says this.
They should have just searched one end of town, because the rumors were that he made it downtown.
But, yeah, she thinks somebody killed him. I mean, honestly, with gone this long and no evidence of anything, unfortunately, yeah, the likelihood is that he is deceased and hidden somewhere. But
wow.
Mm-hmm. So I did bring up to Kristi, from the Facebook page, I saw, and of course I wasn't necessarily verified at that moment, but I saw something about maybe she had sold Bob's truck fairly quickly after Bob disappeared.
Oh, that's right.
And she said, that, yeah, she did sell it, but that it didn't run. It was always breaking down, that he hated the truck. and honestly, she didn't say this, but I could see it with her being, at least, unless they found him okay, she was going to be the only one to provide for these kids. And even, $100 or something from selling the truck is $100.
That's $100 of food that she could put on the table, a bill to pay. I get it.
And I guess I mentioned.
And if he hated the truck and he has no sentimental value to it,
like it wasn't something he restored, and like it was his, like,
that would be completely different.
Yeah, that would be like, holy shit, what the hell. And I guess she had to kind of sell some of his, like, Bob's toys anyway, because there was a camper that he had partial ownership or like half ownership or whatever. But so Kristi is Indian and Bob was not. But Bob's boss, so the one of the wedding reception and everything, packed up Kristi and the boys and moved them onto the reservation. I guess Bob never wanted to live on the reservation. Kristi said that he just never wanted. I don't know necessarily why. I don't know if he felt like they were getting a handout by doing that, because and I'm not saying that they were, but she said she was kind of able to, like, use the program. That's not how she said it, but that's kind of what I was gathering, because her rent charge was according to her income. So it, it was an adjustment to what she made. So I don't know if he thought that, that would be kind of a handout thing and he never wanted to do that. So then.
Pride.
Yes. Thank you. Much easier fucking explanation than my rambling. But Bob's boss packed up Kristi and the kids and moved them on the reservation. But they didn't have a big space for some of the toys, the camper, stuff like that. So they did have to get rid of things. So, that could have been part of the truck thing as well. She said an old man bought it for, like $100. So, hey, he needed a little beat around truck. Then excellent. Towards the end of the interview, she asked what I was going to use this for.
I don't know what this consists of. Like, are you going back on my chat with us, or?
I was just gonna, like, mention maybe, if not new news, because it's not new news, but just kind of amend what was said, since, you have different information than the things, because a lot of the stuff online at least was kind of the same thing over and over again, except for that one article from, I think, August or whatnot.
With the cat, the caterpillar.
Oh, the bobcat thing. Yeah, that too. There was that.
Immediately when I mentioned that there was pretty much the same stuff in all the articles and things you could find, except for that one article back in August, which was more Scott and Kathy talked to whatever it was. I can relist that source in these show notes. That's the one that kind of mentioned that Kristi may have changed her story and whatnot. But she jumped right away to, with the cat, the caterpillar.
I was confused because I'm like, what cat?
No, there was a tip that got shared and talked about on the Bob Dale page about someone using a caterpillar to move Bob's body.
I remember that.
And it wasn't even in that article. It wasn't. I took a screenshot. So the tip was shared in May of last year on the Find Bob Dale page. And in asterisks, this is a very small part of the tip that they've been working on now. It says, I am married to blank number one. I'm going to say, because they have to be talking about two people. His dad was awoken very early in the morning that Bob disappeared by Mr. blank number two, in parentheses, my husband's godfather. So blank number one's godfather. When number two asked, now I'm confusing myself. When this person asked what was going on, because no one knew yet since it was still early, the same, like, night, morning, however you want to look at it, The reply was, "It's better you don't know and you never saw me." The story I got was number 2, the husband's godfather, hit Bob with a car, and they used the cat to move Bob's body.
Like he was walking and hit him on accident?
Walking, or... that's what it makes it sound like, that he was maybe walking on the road. Maybe they did get in a fight and he got out, and accident or not, somehow he got hit by a car and someone...
But at that point, like, late at night or early in the morning, it's dark. Sounds like it was windy roads. That's when you call the police, unless you're completely...
I mean, that's the end of that sentence. That's when you call the police.
Right.
Unless it was on purpose and...
Or you're completely inebriated and you're like, fuck. But you
still, like...
You would probably not get rid of the body. You would probably do an anonymous call.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't do this. I don't know why I'm saying this, but like...
You're trying to give scenarios and hypotheses.
Theories.
Yeah.
And you'd still have someone call the police like, there's a man on the road that's been hit.
Instead of going to someone's house, getting the keys to the Bobcat, and saying, "Hey, you never saw me."
Yeah. That's very suspicious.
Some of the things that the psychic had said she picked up on, something about background or backyard, that he may be buried underground, near
It's
water.
usually where you bury people's underground, but
I mean,
I digress.
Buried near water, in water in someone's backyard, or behind maybe the gravel pit. Woman cutting man's hair, so maybe a hairdresser knows something. The number 5 could mean the month of May, since obviously he went missing in May. I know this is going to ruffle some feathers. That's not my intention. In the interview, she said something about, she was asked if anybody asked her parents, and she was like, "That's ridiculous. You know, he's however old like her dad was however old at the time, and whatever, and why would they know anything?" But also, Kristi's parents live east 5 Mile.
That's in backyard.
Mm-hmm. See, medieval knight. Knight could be a name or a fight over a woman. They see a blue truck, which I guess Bob's truck was blue. The psychic felt that he had a fight with 1 or 2 guys. He was probably hit on the head. One of the guys may have the letter D, like in his, like for his name, and the other may have had a J. One may wear a cowboy hat and the other a baseball cap sometimes. One of the men is most likely Indian. It sounds like there's a lot of Indians up there, so saying that one of them might be Indian, I think that's just kind of a easy,
very easy.
Well, probably. So here you go.
That's almost like a psychic. Did you have someone in your life who passed away?
Never.
Nope, not a single one. They're all alive.
Oh,
did you know we're vampires, by the way? We don't die. But it's like, were they male? Were they a father figure? It's just like those easy questions that they ask. It's like, oh yeah, of course there's gonna be someone in.
Have you had someone that's died abruptly? Well, I mean, probably. You know, the likelihood. On the psychic's type out paper, it says, "I feel he never made it downtown. I think it's someone he knows that may have been at the party." And they wrote down the 4 seasons, not the 4 seasons, like
repair shop or lawn care.
See, and I went hotel, but not that either. I'm sure it's something more local to the Sioux area, but because it's
most likely a repair shop or long. What 4 seasons?
Well, because it says 4 seasons, 6 Mile Road, gravel pit behind 4 seasons. So yeah, probably some sort of lawn care and landscaping type thing, I would bet, because 4 seasons, that would make sense. But yeah, it's still very bizarro, interesting disappearance with no real answers. With brothers and sisters-in-law and grandkids and a wife that don't know what happened to him.
Sad.
Yep.
I said that last time, but it's still sad. And it doesn't
still sad.
change the fact, but I think I have more questions after the interview than I did before, because multiple things contradicted what was previously said, but she also almost contradicted herself.
And like I said, it's been a long time, so memories could be fuzzy, and like she has stated as well, like, you know, she was drunk, so it's not that she's she said it's not that she's changed her story, but it's been hard to even remember properly.
Right, but that's a big event in your life where I think that you would never forget it. Like it probably
run it over and over and over in your head.
Yep.
Same with me, as I've done in traumatic experiences, a la Across the Hall. I still remember some of the exact wording of shit that was said to me and stuff.
Yep. So when something like that happens, you don't forget it. I know sometimes you want to, but you don't.
Brains are a mysterious.
They are.
Organ. But yes, if you know anything about Bob Dale and his disappearance, or you know anything about it at all, they would love to take any tips or information. Call the Sioux Police at 906-632-5744. I will go again with what he was wearing. He was wearing a yellow polo shirt with dress slacks, about 5'7", dark hair, dark eyes, mustache, and last seen on the 6 Mile and Mackinac Trail area. Well, that was our update. Nothing new necessarily, just additional information.
Our email is open, podcast@hometownhomicide.com. Even if you have something that you want us to share, you can send it that way. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at Hometown Homicide Podcast. Also TikTok, and then Twitter, we are on there as Ope Murder.
Ope. Thank you for listening. And remember, we want to tell stories to you, not about you, so stay safe.
And this was Hometown Homicide.